commiserations to Italy, commiserations to England. And Liam, while we were watching the shootout, you actually said to me, this is terrible. Just the tension of it, and then you're drawn to the images of a young lad you know, Saka from Arsenal.
Yeah.
How did he end up taking the fifth penalty?
And Sancho, well, I think Ronnie said it in commentary. They may have been taking him very well in training. And I think Southgate had a plan with Rashford and Sancho coming on, but to give the last penalty there to the young Arsenal boy, when there was so much experience in waiting, I don't know. The tension was too much for Sancho and Saka, the young lads. But I think Italy deserved to win it without any doubt. I think over the course of the tournament they were the best team. Maybe suffered a bit against Spain, but tonight, even after going a goal behind, they played great to get back into the game. And well, it's a lottery, penalties, but I think the best team won on the night.
Damien, I know I said England won their last two shootouts, but here they are back in this stadium, Euro 96, Southgate is there, and it goes against them again.
Listen, it's awful to see there, especially the three young boys, and even Rashford, was off the pitch stuff, incredible guy. Listen, let's not take that away from Italy. For me, they're the best team in the tournament. What a job Mancini's done, 34 games now unbeaten. Incredible job, and especially after what they call the apocalypse of 2018. And it's also ironic, just reading up on both teams earlier, all we've been hearing is the song "Football's Coming Home" all summer. But Italy also think that they've created the game in the late 1800s, so it actually is still going home. It's going home to Rome.
Well, I think Bonucci said it was going to Rome there. Didi, what's your take on what we've just witnessed?
Only themselves to blame. I think the manager got to take a lot of responsibility. When he said before the penalty shootout, he even told them, or they even talked about what they think about when they walk up to the penalties. They didn't have a plan. They scored after 2 minutes. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan 3 years ago. They scored early against Croatia. Yeah. And this is, of course, it's a young squad, but they had two big games now in the last 3 years. They scored early. This is obviously what you want. And they didn't have the answers how to manage a game. And today I've got to say, I said it beforehand. I said it against Germany. They got through, and it's very hard to argue when you win. But it's a negative team selection. He's got 7 defenders on the pitch, and then they concede, and then he brings Saka on. And you saw in extra time, when it did have possession, Grealish and Saka, they caused turmoil, obviously, against a tired Italian team. But I think towards the end of extra time, they're the best team on the pitch. I think throughout the tournament, they were too cautious, at best, negative at times. And to score after 2 minutes, and then, you can't see a game out for 88 minutes. Not even the Italians could do that. I think the way they managed the game today was poor. They let Italy back in the game. They was begging for the equaliser in the second half. And as I said, I think they're only themselves to blame, but I think the manager's got to take a lot of responsibility, all the responsibility for the way he's played.
Liam.
Well, John Giles, who was my manager for the Irish team when I first started playing for the Irish team, and you heard him often enough on this programme with the Champions League and international matches. If you go a goal ahead, try and get another one, But England, after 2 minutes, they just retreated and surrendered the pitch. And that was a cardinal mistake, I think they had the players to trouble Italy going forward, but they didn't try to ask any questions. They just came back and tried to defend that 1-0 lead after 2 minutes. And the Italians were ever so patient. The English defence looked up to the task in the first half, but I thought in the second half, Italy were brilliant in midfield and gave England all sorts of problems and deserved the goal they got from the corner.
Damien, what about Italy? I suppose in other aspects, their success is defined by those 4 World Cups and the 2 recent ones. This is their second time to win this. 3 years ago, coming from that apocalypse. This is a very rapid rise to the summit again, isn't it, for Italy?
Like I just touched on, 34 games unbeaten, albeit a lot of those games before the Euros was against poor opposition, but they've stood up and been counted. They've won big games against, big opposition in this tournament. So it's as big an achievement as them World Cups that you've just mentioned there. And you can even argue they've done it without an out-and-out top striker, which is amazing in this day and age. They're an absolutely brilliant watch, different from any Italy team I've seen. Sure, Liam could even go further on that, but you know, they play such a fluid way, 4-3-3, similar to, I guess, the Man City model. Maybe Mancini's took it from there, but absolutely amazing job. And like I said, it's the best team in the tournament.
And I think I can see Spinazzola there. He's just had the operation to repair his Achilles. I was wondering where the crutches came from, but they are clearly his. He has his jersey on, and he's going to collect his medal. Yeah,
and rightly so. He was absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure, maybe Chiellini, after the ground he's covered, maybe he needs crutches going on the coach after this game today. It's been absolutely fantastic. You know, he played 120 minutes, and you've got to admire them, the will they've got, and they go 1-0 down after 2 minutes. And you know what impresses me most about this team? They don't panic. You never, ever, at any stage in the game, you've got the feeling that they do panic. They always know what to do. And I think this man's got to take a lot of credit for that. You know, he's a calm manager. You know, he stood there. I think he trusts his team. And then on the other side, you've got two players who come on 2 minutes before the end of extra time. Sancho and Rashford hardly played any part. And then all of a sudden, he puts all that responsibility on these two guys. And that's maybe another thing. You know, if you trust him, or if you know you need them in a penalty shot, or you might need them, maybe you should have used him a bit more in the 6 games beforehand.
Well, I suppose when you're talking, all of you, about the cautious Gareth Southgate approach, like, he has been cautious and has made his substitutions quite late. Now, we were screaming at the telly going, you better get those guys on, the two of them, Sancho and Rashford, on, in case you run out of time. If Italy had kept the ball towards the end of extra time, they may not have been able to get them on. They both touched the ball twice.
Yeah, it's not ideal preparation for taking a penalty, is it, Darren? No. But he was cautious. We wanted him to use the subs much earlier in quite a few games. Not just this game, in quite a few games. Like against Denmark in extra time, he was negative as well. He wasn't going for it, and when he got the goal, if I remember correctly, in the second half of extra time, the first 5 or 6 minutes it was all Denmark. And then England got hold of the ball and they kept possession and they saw the game out quite well. But that's what they were trying to do tonight. Perhaps the best tactic is, as I said, go for the second goal. You have the attacking players to do it.
I think the one player certainly had to bring was Grealish. Mount, Liam touched on it before. He had a disappointing tournament. You know, Mount should have been taken off. In Grealish, it took him 10 minutes to change a game against Germany. You know, he came on and set both goals up. You know, and you saw when he came on every time. I think the Italian, you know, I said they never panicked, but I think they panicked a little bit. I mean, Grealish was actually on the ball because, you know, he can do something which not many players can do. And the fact that he didn't bring Grealish on till very, very late in the game, I think it was in extra time, was very surprising to me.
Dara, we're talking about England being cautious. The 119th minute, Chiellini's, so on the flip side of it, going to want to win a game, Chiellini's doing overlaps on the left side, trying to go win the game in the last minute of the game. So that is the difference. And maybe you could say Southgate's personality rubs off on his team somewhat because they are safe, they are pragmatic, they're not a great watch. You get up in the 2 in the morning last night to watch the Copa America final. You ain't getting up at 2 in the morning to watch England.
It's a mindset, isn't it, David? It's a mindset. It's a mindset. And that's, you know, he was cautious at best, negative at times, and I think he's got to take full responsibility because I think you can make a case that the best squad actually didn't win. Because I think England, if you look at the options they had off the bench, and you've got to say the Italians who came on today did a brilliant job. But if you look at the whole squad of England, I'm not sure whether there was a better equipped, maybe the French, than them.
Liam, just looking at the pictures there, well, look, the contrast, the Italians forming a guard of honour for the English players as they go up to pick up their runners-up medals. But, you know, Bonucci, Chiellini, Mancini, you're, you know, a teammate of yours at Sampdoria. On the first night we looked at that picture of the two of you playing in the match against Juventus, and now here he is, leading Italy to this. He
deserves it. The turnaround he's given to Italian football is quite incredible. They didn't qualify for the World Cup in 2018, which is unheard of in Italy. And he turned the whole thing round, and he deserves to get his hands on this trophy. Absolutely.
And there it is. The president of UEFA, Alexander Shevrin, is they're ready to give out the medals, and this is a finely oiled machine at this stage. The points, Didi, about, you know, that you've related about Southgate, about England, about the cautious approach, about the substitutions. As always happens, all the way through now the media have supported this team. The criticism of him will probably be quite harsh tomorrow over those things you've pointed out.
Well, I don't know. You know, he played. I don't know whether anybody said that they should have played any different. You know, they were singing his praises because they were winning. But at the end of the day, you know, they've been in the easier half. You know, winner takes it all. They didn't, so, you know, I think he should get a fair bit of stick.
There's the goalkeeper of the tournament. Well, there you go. There are the images that will be all across the newspapers, all across Europe tomorrow as Italy celebrate in Wembley. They are the European champions for the second time, winning that penalty shootout. They are amazing pictures. But, well, just the Italian fans, it seems, left inside Wembley Stadium. They were vastly outnumbered, but they will not want to leave Wembley this evening. Spectacular images, and the green, white and red of the Italian flag now lighting up that arch over the stadium. It'll be a long night in Rome, Liam, I would think.
A long night everywhere in Italy, Dara. Yeah, all the cities will be going mad. They'll be driving around in their cars. They'll be honking their horns. It's a great victory for them, and none more so than for Chiellini and Bonucci at the back. Like, we watched them over the last 10, 12, 15 years. They've been the most amazing defenders, and it looked like they were never going to get their hands on a big trophy outside of their domestic league. But they've been absolutely tremendous this Euros. And I think I said a couple of games ago, I wanted Italy to win for them.
Yeah. And
I'm really delighted.
Very good. They were played in the 2012 final when they were absolutely hammered by Spain.
Yeah, they got B. They got B. They've had disappointment in the World Cup as well. So for them, at their age, they get their hands on this trophy, I think is incredible. OK, well,
we've already discussed the 3 penalty misses. Young Saka, you just feel very, very sorry for a 19-year-old who had the courage to go up and take this penalty. But let's talk about Rashford and Sancho. We're going to see the 3 of them here, because they only had 2 touches of the ball before they're doing this. Didi? Or Damien, sorry.
Yeah, it's all very well in hindsight, Dara, but a couple of the run-ups I just don't like at all. That stutter, I know a lot of people do it. But yeah, the 2 guys coming on, you say, I think they touched the ball once. They're on the pitch for 90 seconds. Like, it's a hell of an ask. And then to go beat the big man, 6'5", you know, we highlighted him before the game, incredible shot stopper. So, you know, I don't envy the pressure they're under, but Donnarumma stood up to the plate. And obviously the 3 young boys, your heart goes out to them.
I think Spain took Pedri off when they were going to a penalty shootout. He was 18 years of age. Yeah. And perhaps the manager thought, no, he's just too young for this. So for that to happen, I think, is very, very strange. And as Damien says, for those young rookie guys to be running up and they see that Donnarumma in goal, who's about 6'5", filling the whole goal out. Very, very difficult situation to be in. Well, that's where the pressure told and
if you want him to take one, don't give him the last one. You know, give it to Sancho, give it to Rashford. They're more experienced players, even though they're still young as well. Don't give him the last one. They still like Grealish, Stones. But again, you know, these 2 guys, they hardly featured. You know, Sancho started one game. He wasn't even on the bench in the first game. And then you put all the responsibility on these guys. And as a player, you know, they may have thought, you know, I'm not playing, and now it's penalties. Of course, they don't miss on purpose. But how do you feel part of the team or in the tournament if you're not featuring? I think Rashford, he probably played less than half an hour in the whole tournament. Very strange.
Well, Southgate had said that he was very conscious of the players who weren't playing, because he had that experience himself at the World Cup in 2002 where Eriksen just ignored him completely. So he was trying to, you know, he'd mentioned the 2 or 3 players he'd have to leave out of the match day squad. But, you know, as you say, to bring these players on who have not played an awful lot, and that's where the pressure just crumpled them.
You have to say, Dara, that, you know, he's addressed every little small detail in 2-3 years, but if he goes back home tonight, he must be thinking, I've got me 5 wrong. The order, whatever, bringing on the young boys, he has to be. He's got every detail right, but for me, that's wrong.
And Eriksen wouldn't have brought Southgate on if there was penalties in 2002. You know, if you've got 3 players, you know, we've got Connor Cody and, you know, there's 2 or 3 players.
Bellingham,
Bellingham, Calvert-Lewin, there's a few who haven't featured at all, you know, but you don't bring him on to take a penalty.
Does Sancho take penalties for Dortmund in the Bundesliga?
Yeah, he does. Haaland takes
and, like, I've seen Rashford. Remember the PSG match a few years ago? The last kick of the game to put them through, and he scored that.
But he's missed quite a few as well.
Oh, he has,
none of the 3 looked...
No,
I know the tension is all over every player's face, but it just didn't look right to me.
Let's go back now. You know, you say, okay, that's where it was definitively lost, but did England lose this like earlier in the game? You know, you look at the start they had, Liam, and this was the perfect platform.
I was frightened for Italy when this happened. You know, this is less than 2 minutes. Look how quick England attack. Look how Walker bombs around the outside, goes forward. Look at him go. Then you got Kane getting in the box. Then you got Shaw joining in at the back. I actually thought, oh, they're going to kill Italy because they have the pace. They're up for it. But what did they do? They just sat on that lead instead of trying to get the second goal. It was a great goal to begin with. But that's, as Ronnie said, that was as much as we saw for them. They never had a clear-cut chance after this.
And when I hear all this talk about, every little detail we thought through, they were scared of winning. They were scared of winning the game today. And that's a basic. If you want to win a trophy, if you want to win anything, you've got to appreciate the challenge, and obviously you want to go ahead. And you can't be scared of what might happen. And I think this is the first lesson you've got to learn. As Liam said before, if you get one, at half-time, I thought, if they get a goal in the first 10, 15 minutes, it could be 3 or 4. Yeah, but they never tried. They never. I don't think they had one shot on target. There was a goal, and I think they were scared of winning. You know, they were too scared. The occasion got to them, whatever, and they were begging for that equaliser, and sure it came. Here's the goal that took it to extra time. Bonucci. Yeah, it was always a chance that set pieces is the best chance. You know, Verratti's very brave because Mount coming with a challenge here at the head. It's a great save by Pickford. Knocks it against the post, and what a reaction by Bonucci. Look at him. The ball is behind him. It bounces in front of him. This is a centre-forward's finish. Absolutely brilliant. You know, he reacts quickly on his weaker foot, and he's there and puts the ball in. A pair of them were there again, weren't they? Yeah, both of them. There, both of them. Yeah. Chiellini actually stopped Stones from clearing it. He threw himself in the way. But it was well deserved at the time. Yeah. In the first half, at half-time, we looked at the English defence and thought that they were well set to try and to keep Italy out for the second half. But when you flip it around, we're going to look at the way Italy defended, and like those two boys are right in the middle of it. Damien, you take this. I've spoken enough about Chiellini and
listen, what's there more to say in them? You know, they're two absolute legends of the game. We've talked before about modern day defenders now. It's all about, you know, keeping the ball, being really, really technical. But first and foremost with these guys, they like defending. Sorry, they don't like defending, they love defending. We've showed it many times in RT, Champions League nights, you know, make great tackles. They celebrate them like they celebrate a goal. I was worried here, but it just shows Chiellini getting back around by Sterling. Unbelievable pitchers and top players, top defenders. Defenders first. He's got good English, but he didn't say it's coming to our home.
Yeah, he might get a move to the Premier League. At least he can speak English. OK, that's all from all of us for Euro 2020, unfortunately. My thanks to Liam, Didi and Damien for tonight, and indeed to all our contributors over the last 4 weeks or so. Roberto Mancini's Italy win Euro 2020 as they return to the top of the European game.